People, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. Hope we had a decent weekend, got some rest, got some sleep. You know, mainly sleep and rest. That's all you need, isn't it? A few news stories to get through today. Start over in Brazil. Yesterday, thousands of supporters of the far-right ex-president Bolsonaro invaded the country's Congress, presidential palace, and Supreme Court. This is like, it's nearly to the day 2 years where the same thing happened in the US with their attack on their capital. So it took security forces 3 hours to take back the building, with 300 people arrested. President Lula announced a federal security intervention in Brasilia, bringing the police under the control of the central government, lasting until the end of the month. He also said that the law enforcement showed incompetence, bad faith, or malice at that point, suggesting that the police force could have and potentially should have done more than they did. But if we remember, one of the things about Bolsonaro when he was the president is that he did have the backing of the police and military, because he himself used to be in the army. Of course, I'm not suggesting that the police force in Brazil are corrupt. I mean, they are, of course they are, but I'm not suggesting that they assisted. Bolsonaro was quick to condemn the invasion, saying that it crossed the line, though he stopped short of actually condemning the mob that did it. He just said, this is too far, and then he said, well, this is the same thing that the left did in like 2007 and 2013. They're exactly the same. Good people on all sides. What Bolsonaro did do instead is he attacked Lula for blaming him, because Lula said, hey, look, the far right are attacking the country. They seem to be supporters of Bolsonaro. Maybe there's something in that. Maybe if we look, maybe if we put these pieces of a puzzle together, that we may be able to see some type of issue that we have here. A lot like in America, when all of the Trump supporters went into the Capitol, and everyone goes, what's the reasoning for this? And they were all Trump supporters wearing MAGA hats and saying how much they wanted Trump to be in power, and everyone was, what could be the reason? I can't quite consider. Let's get this puzzle together. It's a fucking two-piece puzzle, and it's of Trump's fucking face. America are involved in this somewhat, however, because you've got two domestic Congress people have both called for Bolsonaro to be extradited from the US, where he currently is in Florida, over to Brazil. So it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on what's happening there. Hopefully, I haven't seen any news of any deaths, and hopefully that will continue. We don't want something like that to have killed innocent people, do we? Staying with the rest of the world, over in Israel now, Israel's national security minister Ben Gvir, he has ordered police to ban Palestinian flags from public places. This is one of a number of tedious steps put in by these odious bigots since taking office late last month. Over in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the cunt's choice for a cunt, he has become president again in Israel, even though he's currently under investigation for corruption. Although now that he's president or prime minister, I can't remember which one it is in Israel. I think prime minister. Yeah, sounds right. Him being done for corruption isn't going to continue. because he has the power now to stop it, and he will do. Israel's new government has moved in retaliation against Palestinians for the push for the UN's highest judiciary body to give its opinion on Israel's 55-year military occupation of the West Bank. Thus far, the government has held nearly 40 million in Palestinian tax revenue and said it would transfer the money to victims of Palestinian military attacks. Ironic. Stripped Palestinian officials of VIP privileges and broke up a meeting of Palestinian parents discussing their children's education. Now, very quick, very obvious. Now, listen to the exact words I'm saying, because it's very important. The Israeli government are a bunch of fascist, far-right, tedious pieces of human shit that currently run an apartheid state. Jewish people are not part of that. Understand? See the difference? I'm talking about the Israeli government being a pile of shit. I'm not saying that Israel shouldn't have a place to live. I'm not saying Jews shouldn't have a place. What I'm saying is the Israeli government are vile. That Israel at the moment is an apartheid state. That I fully agree. Like to Hamas, bombing the fuck, awful, terrible. Israel bombing the Seven Shades of shit out of Palestine also isn't great. I don't think necessarily you can compare the two. I don't think you can do that. It's very, very difficult when the bullies they're beating up. You're saying, oh yeah, but you did see that he scuffed his shoe kicking the fucking victim on the floor, can't you? Once again, saying nothing about Jews. Nothing about Jews. I'm talking about Israel, and we need as a world, because we do this all of the time. And this isn't, frankly, this isn't even about Jews. This is simply about our own ability with words, online especially. If I was to say, I don't like Jeremy Corbyn, then people will automatically jump, oh what, so you want Tories in? You're a Tory supporter, you're a fucking massive Tory, you're a fucking Tory, you're a Tory, you're a war criminal. And you say, oh, Tony Blair did some half-decent things. Oh, so you like war, do you? He's a war criminal. He's a war criminal. It goes the same thing over and over, really. People on the left are tedious. And you see the exact same with this. If I say Israel is shit, Israel is currently an apartheid state. Israel mass murdering Palestinians isn't good. Oh, so you're being anti-Semitic, you don't like the Jews. Not what I said. Israel, Netanyahu, pile of shit. Jews, fine. I don't like religion. People shouldn't be religious. It's boring. But if you want your own fantasies, that's fine. That's fine. It shouldn't, as with all Abrahamic religions, it shouldn't really be affecting other people's lives, but your buildings are fine. But Israeli government, shit, not Jews. It's important we remember that. Anyway, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is to announce a cut in financial support offered to businesses to help with energy bills, because fuck them. It will be replaced by a less generous scheme. There is an argument to be made that the government cannot spend all of their money on protecting people, but the other side to that is suggesting that the government should be doing better than they currently are. One of the major reasons that we have to protect our businesses so hard is because of the decisions the government has made over the past 12 years. Of course, different governments, all Tories, all shit. Tory peer Andrew Feldman, who was a former Conservative Party chair, he helped SG Recruitment get multiple contracts worth around £50 million during the pandemic, giving them PPE contracts after Tory peer Peter Gummer introduced them to him. So a Tory peer introduced a company to a Tory peer, who then got put onto the VIP lanes and got a £50 million, got multiple contracts up to around £50 million. All corrupt so far? Nice. They did the thing with the VIP lanes. It is, they say, the VIP lanes, and you hear the government even saying this. We looked over them just as much as we looked over everyone else. You were 10 times more likely to get a contract if you went through the VIP lane. 10 times more likely. It is fucking corporate nepotism at that point. It is ridiculous. Nothing's going to happen to these Tory peers. Something may happen to Michelle Mone. I doubt it, but something may happen. But with this type of nepotism, nothing's going to happen. It's terrible. A survey by the Equal Parenting Project of 597 managers suggests that the majority feel flexible working hours improve productivity. Although we are still in the work belief that more hours are required for career progression. So you have to work longer hours to get career progression. This is interesting with the change. You see our government, especially the likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg, go back to work, go into buildings. A lot of this is because of corporations owning buildings, and if you're renting the Shard or something like this, you want people in there because the amount of money it's costing you to keep it open is a lot, so you need it filled. And so it's corporate rent interests. That's why working in an office is deemed so important. It's nothing to do with, as we've seen with productivity. Our productivity is massively down. Just a few years ago, we were down at the levels that we hadn't seen since like 1835. Our productivity is massively low. But if working from home actually brings up productivity, I don't see it as a bad thing. We need to be thinking of different ways for productivity to go up. Productivity up, good for the economy. Good, win-win, chit-chit. Also, potentially, if you have a look at the 4-day working week, with not a loss to wage, it's something I'm personally in favour of, 4-day working week, although I don't work that much as it is, but a 4-day working week without a loss of income, you'll, from every study I've read on it, suggests that you're going to get a higher productivity, which is good. Over in the US, because I don't want people to just think I'm attacking bigots around the world and not top tier bigots like the US. Police killed at least 1,176 people in 2022, which is the deadliest year on record for police violence. Police killed nearly 100 people a month. Any other organisation, and they would be stopped. It just would. If in every Toys R Us they were killing 100 people a month, you would hunt down that fucking giraffe, wouldn't you? You know. But the police, who are meant to be there to protect, do not forget, they go around basic serial killer fuckers, killing 100 people a month, wanking over their own concept of power. It's all fine, all fun and games. 11% of the cases in which no offence was alleged. Police killed on 11% of them, no offence. That is just slaughter. That's all that is. That is fucking slaughter. With the others, you may be able to argue your way out. Although there was a small percentage that were actually were armed. A lot of it shooting people in the back. Whiny, dickless fucks. there is racial disparity, of course, because why the fuck wouldn't there be? It's the West. 24% killed were black people, with black people only making up 13% of the population. So, although you can argue that more white people have been killed by police, in terms of how many there are, you're 3 times more likely to be a black person killed by police than a white person in America. And I'm going to be honest, three times is not even as high as I would have been expecting. I thought it was going to be even worse than that. Finally, renters. What's that? That's it. Renters in privately owned. Because I've got the I very close to the P in privately, so it looked like one word, and I was trying to work out what the fuck it was. Renters in privately owned properties have faced the highest rise in rents since the records began 7 years ago. This is landlords passing on their higher costs onto renters, so they're fine. We have renters proportionally spend more on housing costs than owners do, 24% weekly compared to 16% for if you've got a mortgage. Couple of things that could be solved by this: build more houses, stop banks from thinking, well, start using rent as a way for credit, for the credit rating. So if you go and you look to get a mortgage, you should be able to use your fucking 3 years of never missing rent as proof you can pay a mortgage. That could be an interesting one. Hunt down every landlord. Potentially not all of them, but a lot. And also every estate agent. They are not worth much. That's the end of that. I hope we're all good for the rest of the day. Catch you later.